as we return to Firebird Field to watch the Lakota West Firebirds take on the Hamilton Big Blue. We had some crazy weather. We got some pouring rain, despite weather apps not telling us. But we are back for some football. I'm here with our analyst, Andrew Odell. I'm Nico Stolenwerk. And Andrew, what are the keys to the game for tonight's matchup?
Yeah, Nico Stolenwerk, I'm really excited for tonight's game. It's going to be a blast. But really the keys to the game for me, first of all, winning the field position is going to be a must for both of these teams. You saw last week the Firebirds came in and they got a pump blocked on one of the first possessions of the game against St. Xavier. Now, it led to a St. Xavier touchdown. And, those are the plays that can really decide a game. But the Firebirds, they also got a pump block last week, which resulted in a touchdown for them. So those plays on special teams, on field position, they can really lead to the impact of what the final score is going to be. And you saw a guy like Reese Mason on special teams who was able to take some returns back into some good territory for the Firebirds and get them into good field position early on in the game, which really helped them build that momentum.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you can expect to see a big chess match between Coach Bolden and RV coach of the Hamilton Big Blue. Both are incredible coaches. Both have a lot of experience in the GMC. So it's going to be a big matchup and a big chess match between those two guys.
All right, for my second keys to the game, I'm going to say it's got to be limiting the penalties. The Firebirds last week had a lot of penalties, especially early on in the game, that really prevented them from getting a lot of drives going. They had a lot of touchdowns that got called back, a lot of plays that could have been huge that were called back due to holding or false starts. And those are the type of penalties that can really ruin the momentum of the game and ruin the impact of the game.
Yeah, and speaking of momentum, I think we really need to see that impact between Trey Barnett and Sam Wiles, keeping that connection together. I mean, we saw a lot of big plays. Barnett had 76 yards and a touchdown, and we just got to keep that connection going and keep that energy going on the field and not let the momentum slip.
And especially is keeping your quarterback comfortable to keep that momentum going is crucial. And that's my third key to the game, is keeping your quarterback comfortable. We saw last week Sam Wiles had a great week throwing the football and running the football because he was comfortable with that offensive line. But if we look back to last year in 2023, in the game against Hamilton where the Firebirds prevailed 42-14, we saw the Firebirds hold Antonio Mathis, who led the GMC in passing yards last year for the Big Blue. He was held to one touchdown and two picks on 6 of 14 for 116 yards, and that was huge. Guys like Micah Markley stepped up on defense. He had a pick last year against Hamilton, and he prevented really Antonio Mathis from ever getting going, a guy who is really one of the most talented players in the GMC. So, if they're able to prevent Antonio Mathis from getting comfortable and keeping their quarterback Sam Wiles comfortable, who looked very comfortable last week and looked pretty comfortable against Hamilton last year where he went 7-12, 116 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, you mentioned comfortability for Sam Wiles. If we're talking about comfortability, I underlined that 0 turnovers. That is a coach's dream, and that's what you want to see again this week. Being safe with the ball, keeping it on the ground, making the smart plays. As you see Lakota West Firebirds coming out on the field, the fans are getting alive. But like I'm saying, 177 total yards and 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. That's a game a coach wants to see.
Yeah, and it's really going to be up to this Firebird defense as well. Their defensive presence is really going to impact, what the final score of this game is going to be. And I want to talk about a guy by the name of Vincent Giordano, a guy who, I mispronounced his name last week. I said Giordano. That's my mistake. But he did remind us that his pronunciation of his last name is Giordano. And I will keep that in mind as he's one of the impact players this week for the Firebirds. That's going to make a huge impact on that defensive line.
We all make mistakes. We just move forward and make sure, we learn from them. But another guy on that linebacking core is Grant Bierman. He had 13 tackles last game, and that is an impact player if I've ever seen one. Half a tackle for a loss and a pass defended. I mean, you saw that pass defended. He ran up in the QB's face, and if we can keep that pressure going, it's going to be a long night for Antonio Mathis.
Yeah, Grant Bierman, he's a special talent, just a heck of a player, and, he's going to really bring that energy and that fuel that the Firebirds are going to need to pull through tonight. I expect a pretty, decently contested game. I think Hamilton's going to come in. They're going to play their game early on. The Big Blue, they're a pretty good team. Last week against Baden, they prevailed 15-0 in a game where their defense really shut them down. But this week, I'm predicting a game where the final score, which I think is going to be 24-10 Firebirds here tonight.
I do think they're going to keep it close, but after that second half, I think West is going to pull away, and I think we're going to see a 28-13 ball game, and West is going to take that 2-0 lead and limit one less undefeated team here in the GMC. But we're going to take a short break, and we will be right back for this kickoff. We come back here as Lakota West will start this match with Kofi Adubafor booting this one away to Hamilton. Looking at last year, as you said, West took control of that game with a score of 42-14, West taking the victory, and Braden Johnson had the big game of his life with 4 total touchdowns as this one goes away.
And you talk about Kobe Adubafor, who he kicked a 42-yarder last week for the Firebirds. He's a great kicker. He's got a great leg. He's gonna be really reliable for the Firebirds this year moving forward.
It's gonna be really interesting talking about later this season, seeing how he moves, because there's going to be some big pressure kicks, and he is definitely a young guy on this team who hasn't gotten as many reps. It's gonna be interesting to see how he does under those moments.
Yeah, and here starting off for the Hamilton offense, you got Antonio Mathis, a great quarterback, who last week went 16 of 21 for 132 yards, 0 touchdowns, and a pick. Not the greatest, didn't have a touchdown, but he did have a great completion percentage. And when you're throwing to a guy like Grayson Goldsmith and R.J. Shepard Ruffin, it's going to be, pretty simple for your offense.
I mentioned, I believe it was Daniel Vollmer last week as their St. X's Swiss Army knife, and I think that's Grayson Goldsmith here tonight. As Mathis will take the snap, it'll be a shotgun play. He's going to heave it deep to Ruffin, and he's got a grab, and it's incomplete. Blocked away by Reese Mason. He does it again. 3 passes defended and 1 and a start of the game.
What a defensive play right there from Reese Mason. I mean, what a way to start off the game. Hamilton taking a shot early, getting your quarterback involved. It was a perfect throw, a dot right into the arms of the Hamilton receiver. Just couldn't come up with the catch. Thought he had the catch right over Mason, but Mason made a huge play there. And
it looks like there was a flag on the play. I believe it was offsides. But you know what? That's better than that play that would have been there. This was a nice breakup from Reese Mason. And he's been doing that throughout this whole season.
Yeah, that's tough. The penalties, like I said in pregame, you're going to want to limit them. It's tough that had to happen on the first play, but we'll see what they can get back here on the second play.
Mathis sets up in that shotgun formation. He's going to give that to his running back, not seeing a number, but that's going to be about a gain of 3.5.
As the Firebirds defense, they've been great. They were great last week against Chase Herbstreit and that St. Xavier offense. We'll have to see what they can do this week, but you got guys all over the board there. Grant Bierman, Reese Mason, even Judah King had a great week last week, 6 total tackles, and Derek Edwards.
That was Grayson Goldsmith with the carry, and he had a great game last week, essentially their whole team's offense. Mathis sets back again. He's got a man deep. He's heaving it, and that's incomplete. He was looking for number 17, Karan Navy. Decent throw, a little bit of an overthrow, but he got it.
Yeah, and that's just Hamilton early on. They're taking shots right now. You got to respect it. They're going for the deep ball. that one wasn't there that time, a little bit overshot, but they're getting decent separation here on these early throws.
Yeah, it's just about getting that throw down. He had his man, like you said, that separation was there. But Mathis is going to set up in that shotgun formation again. I believe that's Goldsmith to his right. He moves out, pump fake, set, and that's tipped at the line. I believe that was Cole Mundy getting an impact. We see he's healthy from that injury from last week.
Great play there from Cole Mundy. I mean, coming in, making a play. He's, a huge guy coming in there at his size, but the ability to make that play right there and force the 4th down and the 3 and out, and now Hamilton will have to punt it away.
And we'll see Reese Mason back there to receive as Goldsmith, like I was mentioning, that Swiss Army knife. He's going to punt that one away for Hamilton. West shows blitz. Snap is good, kick is up, and that's a quick kick and a line drive to Mason. Mason will choose to receive it. He's got some room to go, cutting upfield, and that'll be about a 7 or 8 yard return. And that's, like you said, some pretty good field position, pretty close to that Firebirds logo at midfield.
Yeah, the field position battle, obviously you're seeing it right there. Firebirds start off their first drive with great field position. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, we'll see how Sam Wiles reacts after that quick 3 now. Those jitters, sometimes they're still there at the beginning, but we'll see how he can react to those moving forward.
Yeah, and here on this first drive for Sam Wiles, I think you just got to get him comfortable. I would like to see some runs here, maybe some quarterback runs, but giving the ball to Braden Johnson is never a bad idea.
And you can imagine Hamilton might be ready for those runs after what Braden did last year.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns rushing and 1 touchdown passing. He was great last season against Hamilton.
Yeah, quick reverse. I believe that was Tyson Davis. He's going to cut upfield. And that's a pretty good game to start off on that first play of the game.
Yeah, great play right there. A little reverse, kind of fooling the defense a little bit. And you're getting one of your best skill players, Tyson Davis, out there in space. And he made a pretty good cut upfield.
You don't see Bolden do things like that too often. So, like I said, that chess match, he's definitely getting in their heads, doing his best. So Wiles will set up in that shotgun formation. He's going to fake it to Johnson. He's going to take it himself, gets out of the first tackle, and he's using his legs to bring up the first down.
Yeah, what a play right there from Sam Wiles. I mean, caught up in pressure and the ability to evade and find his way for the first down.
So we'll see how they do on this fresh set of downs here. Looking good on offense so far, playing smart. Like I said, no turnovers, no dangerous throws or dangerous plays that might result in a loss of downs or possession. But here we go as Wiles sets up, motions Davis, fakes it to Davis, looking, he's got Johnson wide open in the flat there, and that's going to be a nice gain of 9, bringing up 2nd and 1.
Great play design right there from Tom Bolden, getting one of your best players, Braden Johnson, out there off kind of a screen play, and Sam Wiles able to find him, and now you got a 2nd and 2.
We're talking about momentum. That's a great way to start this game.
Yeah, like I said, getting your quarterback comfortable. Hamilton, they try to get Mathis comfortable with some deep balls early, but that didn't really work. And then you see here Sam Wiles and West kind of just getting those little dump-offs that are working really well so far.
Talk about a dump-off. That's going to be a first down there for Lakota West. We'll see. Hamilton's defense, both of these defenses are no joke. They shut down the opposing team last year. Sacks-wise, Lakota West had 24 last year, and then Hamilton had 22. And it's been pretty similar throughout all the stats last year. Of course, some players moved on into college and whatever they chose to do after, this game. But, these defenses are both really tough.
They are, as, Hamilton, they've got some guys. Breaks away from the tackle there. What a play.
That's a nice play by Davis. Getting in early. He didn't have too much of an impact last game, but he's definitely making one here tonight.
You talk about some of Hamilton's top defensive players, though. You got a guy like Carter Isaacs, 8 total tackles last week and a forced fumble, and then C.J. Bryant with 8 tackles and another forced fumble, and then Grayson Goldsmith, another guy on defense who also plays offense in that Swiss Army knife role. And, he had 4 tackles last week and 1 fumble recovered.
And last year he had 5 sacks and 8 tackles for a loss, which is pretty impressive as a linebacker, and he definitely makes a presence in this game. Wiles sets up in that shotgun formation. Gives it to, I believe that's Kenyon Norman moving up and breaking tackles. What an effort by him to get that first down.
And how about Kenyon Norman, a guy who kind of, he kind of woke himself up last week against St. Xavier, had a great start to that second half that really fueled them in that second half, had some nice gains there, and you're seeing him early here on as the second running back for the Firebirds.
And we'll see what Bolton does on this fresh set of downs as we are entering, I believe, up to that 24, pretty close to red zone territory. We'll see what Wiles does on this, like I said, fresh set of downs. He's got receivers wide out left and right. He's got Barnett and Davis to his left. He's got Brogdon to his right and Norman out in his backfield. He'll give it to Norman. Norman's going to shed a tackler, but he'll get to about that line of scrimmage and not much more.
Yeah, but against this Hamilton defense, you're definitely going to want to spread the field. A lot of guys, a lot of your receivers had great games last week. Trey Barnett, and also Jalen Brogdon, the guy that could definitely step up into that role of being a pretty good wide receiver. And then you also got Tyson Davis. He's really fast, really a speedster for the Firebirds. So we'll see what he can do.
All these wide receivers definitely have their role in the offense. Whatever it is they do well. You had Barnett with those crazy catches last week, but all of these guys get in the action and do something well for this team. Wiles will set up in that shotgun formation. He's got Luca as an extra blocker. He'll give it to Norman, and Norman's got a hole up the middle, and he's bashing and bruising his way into that inside the 5 territory, and that is first and goal for Lakota West.
And there's Kenyon Norman again. What a player. Catching on last week in the second half of that St. X game, and now in the first half of this Hamilton game, getting himself comfortable and gaining a lot of yards.
It's a young backfield, but they're definitely coming together and looking good as a unit. As we'll bring up 1st and 3, this is looking good for Lakota West to start on their first drive. Taking clock down, but also getting yards at the same time. Wiles, fake it. He'll take it himself. Cutting up, and Hamilton explodes, but I believe that's into the end zone. Touchdown, Lakota West. Sam Wiles, talk about bruising his way in, and he takes that one in to start this game off well.
What a great play right there from Sam Wiles, staying alive, bashing and bruising his way up into the end zone.
He took some hits there, but he got his way in. He said, that's my touchdown. I'm getting in there. So we'll see. I believe Kofi Adubefore will kick this extra point. He's done pretty good all last game against St. X. But we'll see what he does here. Kick is up. And it is good. So Lakota West will take a 7-0 lead. And we'll see how Hamilton can respond. That was a great drive by Lakota West. Hamilton's got to get momentum back if they want to come back into this game. So as we see Adubefore kick this one away for Hamilton, what did you like about that drive?
Well, it was a great drive just because of the physical nature of the Firebirds really early on. Kenyon Norman establishing his physicality, and then Sam Wiles getting into the end zone, just taking a hit and staying up on the field. It wasn't really anything too crazy. They didn't do too much, but they were just able to methodically get down the field using the run game.
And I'm smiling here because I saw that one go right through the uprights on a kickoff. And, man, it's not even like Hamilton gets a chance on these kickoffs because you just know it's going out the back of the end zone.
I mean, yeah, Kobe Adubefore that way, it's something else. He's an amazing player, and, that is just awesome.
But we'll see how Hamilton's offense and Antonio Mathis can respond after that. West got that quick stop. They had some good looks offensively for Hamilton, but they just weren't able to bring it down thanks to Reese Mason and this defense. So Mathis will take the snap. It'll be a quick handoff to Goldsmith, and he's going to get a solid gain, but West is there to stomp that one away. I believe that was Grant Bierman on the tackle.
Number 5, Grayson Goldsmith.
And, coming into this game, Grayson Goldsmith, they're on, taking the carry for the Big Blue. Just really impactful on every side of the ball for him, special teams, defense, and offense. And he's going to be the X factor in this game. If he can get going, it could be a long night for the Firebirds.
Yeah, if we're talking about another matchup and an X factor, look at Reese Mason on R.J. Shepard Barrett. That is going to be a big one. And the play is called dead. And it's a false start on the offense, and that, I believe that was on Goldsmith. So that's going to set Hamilton back a little bit more onto that 2nd and 10, I believe. Lucky break for Lakota West there.
Yeah, and like I said, limiting the penalties is going to be huge to whoever wins this game. We saw last week the Firebirds had a lot of penalties, and then early on in this game they had a quick pass interference. So early, last week it was the offense making mistakes with penalties, and now this week it's the defense.
So here we go. I expect to see a pass from Mathis. He's been very pass heavy, but he'll give it to Goldsmith there, and he is going to get stuffed there by that line. What a defensive presence right there, making up the play. I believe that was also Cole Mundy, given his impact.
Yeah, Cole Mundy, his presence is just huge in there, and all those guys in there. You got Judah King, Grant Bierman, Derek Edwards, Vincent Giordano, and a bunch of other guys in there, Micah Markley. That defense is just loaded. And then on the secondary, you got Reese Mason. He's just a huge impact player. His ability to break up passes is amazing. And then Colin Ogletree as well on that outside.
Yeah, Reese Mason has really come into his own on this corner as Mathis gets a quick throw, just a little bit too outside to, I believe, receiver on Hamilton, Marlon Reed. And that's going to bring up 4th and 8 and a 3 and out for Lakota West as this defense is making its presence early.
Yeah, Marlon Reed last week for Hamilton had good 4 receptions for 25 yards. Didn't do too much, but he still had a pretty good impact, and he's one of those receivers, one of those 3 receivers that really can make a huge impact for Hamilton.
And we haven't seen him too much tonight, but Cam Thomas stats from the last time they played, a sack and a half and a forced fumble and 5 tackles, which is pretty incredible, especially for being a sophomore at the time. So Goldsmith will punt this one away, nearly blocked there, but Mason will return it. Should get some yards. Cutting up field, he's going to get about to that 48-yard line before he's brought down. And that's some, like you said, great field position for Lakota West here going into this drive.
Yeah, again, it's Reese Mason, his ability to take it downfield and then put themselves in great field position. And it's what this team does very well, and they're going to continue to do that. And if they do, it's going to be a really good night for these Firebirds. Already off to a really good start.
I could definitely see a nice shot to the end zone or just a deep ball from Wiles. They've had that ground and pound offense for that first possession, but they might choose to go a different route just to catch Hamilton off guard for a minute there. So Wiles will set up there in that shotgun formation, which he loves. Bunch formation, very tight. Motions Davis. Fakes it to Davis. He's going to take it himself. Cutting up field, and that's a nice gain of about 13 or 14 there. That's another first down for Lakota West.
And Wiles, the way he's running this offense is just being, really good in every aspect of the game. The ability to take off with his legs right there, found a seam upfield and took off.
Now we know we give Wiles all this pleasure, but give it up to that interior offensive line, getting those nice blocks in and helping him cut up field. He's got the looks, but someone's got to make those blocks, and that's the dirty work. So Wiles will set up again. Motions Davis. Play action. Fires over the middle. He's got Barnett, and it's just a little low. Dangerous throw there, but it'll bring up 2nd and 10. He had him there just a bit low, a little higher, and that would have been completed.
Good coverage there, too, from Hamilton. They were right on that pass, and Firebirds had a pretty good look, but just unfortunate that they weren't able to complete the pass.
You saw Marlon Reed there playing offense and defense. You see that a lot on this team. I would assume it's a coaching style of Coach Crouch.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Coach Crouch for a minute here. The guy he wins football games, and with a 95-48 overall record, he knows what it takes to win football games, and he led this team to the round 2 of the playoffs last year, and it was a pretty successful year for Hamilton. With how recent years have been, this team's definitely taking a step forward.
Wiles set up that screen to Braden, and that should go all the way into the end zone for another Lakota West touchdown. Talk about blocking on that play. He just got out to that outside, and there was no stopping him from there.
That Firebird blocking defense right there, just great stuff. And I mean, the guys on there on that offensive line were just doing great work all that drive and all the first drive, and they already have as many touchdowns as they scored last week.
Looks like Braden Johnson won that receiving touchdown just like he got last time they played this team, and he's off to a great start as well, as everyone on this team is making an impact.
And how about the blocking, though? I mean, you said it already, but it's just you got to reemphasize it, how good it was there on that drive. And right now, an early, quick start for the Firebirds.
Dubufor puts that one through, and that will start, like you said, 14-0. 4 minutes and 1 second left in the first quarter. Hamilton needs to respond on this next drive if they want to get back into this game. As the Dubufor boots this one away, as I like to say, let's take a quick look at Reese Mason, who has been putting in an impact, as he had 9 tackles and 2 passes defended last week and already has one early in this game.
Yeah, Reese Mason, I mean, he's come up as easily the best corner on this team and really one of the best defensive players on the entire team. In a team full of great defensive players, he really is truly one of the best, and it's just his coverage, his presence is always there, and then also his ability to take return punts is just another really huge factor of his game.
That's definitely, when a team does not have a good punt or kick returner, it's going to affect them big, as, coach is always going to be holding their breath when those kicks go up, but with this team, they don't have to worry with Reese Mason returning them.
Yeah, he's just such a great returner, and then on defense, the leap he's made from last year has been huge. I mean, just unbelievable stuff from him, and it's really going to take a lot for this Hamilton football team to get back into this game, but right here, you got to see them establish the run game a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll see how they do. Grayson Goldsmith, like you said, establishing that run game, and that's just going to be a game about 2 or 3, and the problem with not being able to establish that run game is that you don't have to, as a defense, you don't have to worry about it as much, and they can play a bit back, and that hurts the passing game. And so when you are a one-factor offense, it's hard to, really get that game going on offense, because, they really are intertwined between the two types of play styles.
And Grayson Goldsmith, going back to last week, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, just a really good player for this team, a really good running back, but it's going to be tough against this Firebird defense. They, had a tough game against St. Xavier last week, and they held Chase Herbstreit in that offense in check for most of the game, so if that offense can't get much going, I don't know how this offense is going to do tonight against the Firebirds.
They lost a lot of key players last year, including Jacob Asbeck, but, this team has rebuilt, and they seem ready for anything, bringing up 3rd and 5 here with 2:55 left on the clock.
And also a key departure for Hamilton that really could be the culprit for the reason why this team isn't doing much on offense early, as should be a penalty.
It looked like that whole Lakota West sideline jumped forward.
Yeah, but as I was saying earlier, Cornell Bennett McCoy, one of the greatest players on the team last year, 1,054 yards and 8 touchdowns receiving. I mean, those are insane numbers, and he's truly a heck of a player, and it sucks that he had to leave and, go on last year, but he was still an amazing player, and, they're definitely going to feel the impact of him leaving in this game.
Yeah, I'm sure Mathis is not happy about losing his favorite target from last year. Flags fly. West thinks there's a fumble. Refs are calling it down, but there's a flag on the play. Talking about that penalties, Bolden is scratching his head after that one, as that's a first down from that last play.
Yeah, you're really just giving them first downs there. I mean, you had a good possession, and it sucks to give it up because you really have held this offense in check. You don't want to give them any momentum because if you get them some momentum, they maybe get a quick score here. They get themselves right back in this game.
We'll see what this flag is. The refs are talking. Looks like they'll have to decide. The ref walks out here.
Personal foul, 44 on the defense, 15 yards, first down.
Looks like Vincent Giordano called for the foul there, and that'll bring Hamilton up again. Those penalties still eliminating the Firebirds.
Yeah, those second week. Those 15-yard penalties are no joke. I mean, 15 yards, that's a first down and a half. That's going to bring them up to the 45-yard line, pretty close to midfield there. And that changes everything on this playbook. You know, that's talk about a momentum change. Those personal fouls are definitely a big momentum change for both sides of the ball.
As now Hamilton, you know, that field position definitely comes back to play here. Now they're already up near midfield, and where they really haven't done much on this drive.
Quick motion to Marlon Reed, and he gets wrapped up at that line. West there and gets him down.
But R.J. Shepard, a guy who really hasn't done much tonight, definitely a guy, though, that can make a huge impact if he can get the ball. But Reese Mason on him, you know, that's a tough matchup against a really good corner.
Yeah, for sure. And I believe last week, Marlon Reed had some big plays, 3 receptions, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Excuse me, I said last week. I meant last year when they played each other. And he definitely has been an impact tonight, and he was last year as well. As there's Marlon Reed again, but West is there for a quick tackle for a loss.
Yeah, you know, when the West was going through the pregame or the film review for Hamilton this week, they definitely were expecting a lot from Marlon Reed, and that's why, you know, they're coming out and making sure he doesn't get anything down the field.
That's going to bring up 3rd and long, 11 to be exact. Mathis is going to have to throw it, and West knows it. This is going to be, honestly, one of those big plays of the game. Obviously, it's 3rd down, but also, you know, you have the momentum on your side. You might have just lost on those couple of plays. We'll see how they can react on this 3rd and 11.
Yeah, you don't want any penalties here if you're West. Just play your game, and, you know, penalties will kill you. As looks to be a timeout here on the field. We'll be right back.
We'll return after that quick timeout. There was a bit of a clock error, but there will be 1 minute left in the first quarter. And this is, like I said, a big play for Hamilton. Mathis there with Goldsmith to his right. Motion Shepard. Going to throw. And there is Mundy making an impact. The nose tackle himself getting to the quarterback, and that's the first sack of the year for Lakota West.
What a play right there from Cole Mundy. He's been making impacts all over the field today, and he continues to make them there. Mathis didn't even see him until he was already down on the ground, and what a huge play right there from the Firebirds, and they get right back. They are dominating this game early.
Yeah, he was able to beat that blindside tackle right off the bat and be able to get up to him, to Mathis, that is, instantly, and get a quick tackle there. But we'll see Mason return this one. He's always a threat in the return game. Goldsmith with a nice punt. He will return it. cutting upfield, getting around to that right sideline. That's where you want to be. He's got blockers in his lane. There he goes, down the sideline, still going to the 25, still going down to that 20-yard line. What a run for Reese Mason to close out this first quarter.
I got 2 words, Reese Mason. And I mean, that's just unbelievable. The kick, the punt return right there to set up another great field position for the Firebirds, and he's just doing it all on the field today.
If we're talking about that mental game, scoring right here to make it 21-0 after that first quarter, that would do some damage to the Hamilton mind.
And also, you're talking about the Firebirds get the ball at halftime. I mean, they can really put this thing to sleep right here, right now.
Man, what a run from Reese Mason. I mean, I called him a threat, and he got to that right outside lane, and I knew he was gone from there.
You see Sam Wiles communicating with his sideline, but see what he does here.
You can always see that extra blocker, Luca, 6'8" frame. You can't miss him. He will hit Luca. A bit of a miscommunication, nearly intercepted by Carter Isaacs. Didn't look like Luca even saw that throw. He was still running straight ahead.
And I thought he was taking that back. I thought it was in his hands. I thought that looked like a pick 6 to me, but really lucky there from the Firebirds and almost disaster on that final play of the quarter.
So we will take a break for this first quarter. Make sure you're back for this second one, as we'll see how West does on this drive. We will return as this ball game is getting closer and closer to being over, and it's only the second quarter, 14-0. Lakota West inside that 20-yard line on the opposing field after that great return from Reese Mason.
Yeah, and I mean the Firebirds offense now setting up shop here inside that 20-yard line and really just look here to try to get the run game going, continue to just pound it right down the field, and there's not much Hamilton can do here defensively.
You see Luca, like I said, 6'8" frame. I mean, he looks like a dinosaur out there amongst men.
Yeah, really looking like a T-Rex out there. I mean, his ability to just get the job done on the field, just towering over everyone else.
So here we go. Wiles sets up in that shotgun formation. The defense looks ready. 2nd and 10. Wiles looking. Pressure coming. Pressure hits. Gets it up. And it's intercepted in the end zone. What a play to catch that route. I think that pressure got to Wiles. I mean, that was right up there. I'm not seeing a number there, but what a play. Catching that route and getting an interception, and that's going to be a touchback for Lakota West.
And talk about a momentum shift right there. Hamilton, no momentum in this game, but they get it all right back there, and now they have a chance to go down the field here. They need to score here, though, as they were just given a gift, but tough break there from the Firebirds. Had a chance to go up 3 scores. And you see it on the sideline, they really feel like they missed an opportunity right there.
It's possible I spoke a little too early about saying this game was close to being over. But here we go. I mean, talk about momentum change. The crowd on Hamilton's sideline is alive, and all the players' mindset just changed after that one. Because now you're looking at a 21-0 game to a 14-7 game, and that is a big difference. So
Indeed it is.
Mathis takes a snap. He'll give it to Goldsmith. Goldsmith being that power back. Getting about 3 or 4 yards there to bring up 2nd and about 7. 6.
He was tackled by number 44.
Yeah, but you see here, Hamilton's still trying to run that ball with Goldsmith, but you got to get Mathis going eventually. That first play of the game, really, I liked how they did that. They didn't get the catch ultimately, but they had it in his hands. They almost had a huge play, and I'd like to see them take more shots here.
You're definitely going to see R.J. Shepard getting involved in this offense. He had over 600 total yards and 9 total touchdowns last year. He's definitely a threat in this receiving game. Mathis looking, pressure coming. Looks like he's going to get wrapped up by multiple West defenders. I believe that the first one to get to him, looking in that pile there.
Looks like it was Derek Edwards there.
And Cam Thomas, I believe they collided at the same time to bring him down.
Just a great set of plays right there. And, their defense just keeps swarming. So, it doesn't matter. That interception, it might have been tough for the Firebirds offense, but if their defense isn't giving up any points, it doesn't really matter.
And that's what you see about a true team is when an offense makes a mistake, the defense comes in there and immediately says, it's okay, we'll look forward, we'll get the job done for you. Just return the favor on this next possession. So we'll bring up 3rd and 8. Mathis looking, blitz coming, gets it out, and what a grab on that sideline to get a first down for Hamilton. I believe that was number 3 on. I believe that was R.J. Shepard, like I said, definitely putting an impact into this team.
Yeah, an amazing play right there to keep the drive alive. And that's a huge first down for a team that's been struggling on offense throughout the entire game to keep them going. See if they can build momentum off of that right there.
And that number 3, number 4 battle, between RJ and Reese, it has definitely been a match. And, get your popcorn because that's going to be a good battle for the rest of this game. As Goldsmith takes that one right up the middle, about 3 or 4 there.
Yeah, you talk about a battle between the number 3 on both ends of the offense. You got Trey Barnett, number 3 for the Firebirds, and then R.J. Shepard, number 3 for Big Blue as their receiver, and 2 great receivers right there. They can both make impacts for their team.
So we'll see what Mathis does here on that 2nd and 6. R.J. Shepard kept the play alive for them. But, man, that corner versus wide receiver, it's always a fun matchup. Corners, receivers, they tend to butt heads sometimes. And we'll see how it goes the rest of this game. As fumble snapped, and that is not what you want to see, as that's a loss of downs and a loss of about 1 yard there. And that's going to be about 3rd and 7.
As you see here, another huge 3rd down for Big Blue as, Hamilton tries to get this conversion here. But look for another, again, number 3, R.J. Shepard, a guy who can definitely make an impact. But, for the defense of the Firebirds, they're going to have to step up here. Reese Mason, a great corner, and see what he can do.
Mathis gets it out to the outside, and not broken up, but also not a first down. Great defense there by Cole and Ogletree, to keep them into that 4th down range. We'll see what the offense does. They may stay on the field. It is that 4th down territory, especially being down by 2 possessions. But the duo between Reese and Finn Mason, both of them are Mason, of course. But number 6 for Lakota West, Finn Mason, he had 5 interceptions last year, leading the GMC. So he is no joke either. Both of this duo, you can tell they practice against each other in the backyard all the time.
Yeah, you see here Tom Bolden not too happy about something, but if I was Hamilton there, I'd honestly consider going for it because you're already down 14 points. You're not in the greatest field position, but it doesn't really matter as, if you don't score there, you don't have enough time to really make a comeback.
And there you go, a delay of game. Talk about those penalties. That's going to be detrimental. Now it's a 5 yards better field position for Lakota West. Like you said, I would definitely consider going for it there if I'm Coach Crouch because, you got to be, when you're already down 2 scores, you don't want to get too aggressive, but you got to show a little aggression to get back into this game.
Yeah, you talk about you're already giving up pretty good field position when you're kicking it to Reese Mason. Looks like it's blocked.
Recovered there by Nathan Hudgens. I believe that might have been Barnett on the block.
What a play there from the Firebirds. we talk about field position, really probably should have gone for it anyways, as they still don't have great field position, and now the Firebirds have amazing field position.
Talk about, broken record here. Field position. I mean, I was about to say they were going to get good field possession, but that is even better. That's 2 block punts in 2 games for Lakota West. Special teams, it's a underrated factor of this game, and it has been a big one for the season for Lakota West so far. We'll see how this offense responds after that interception. Sam Wiles, pretty composed guy, but we'll see if that a little rattles him. It's the first really bad play for him throughout this whole year. I'm not sure. We'll see how he responds there, as he has 2 backs to help block or take a run. He'll take it himself, and Big Blue all over that number 59 right there to make that big tackle. I believe that's Eckley Bridges. He was right there on that line to bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and the defense for Hamilton, really going to see how they, settle into this game. They gave up 2 touchdowns early, but they got the interception there. And now the Firebirds have great field position again, but can they step up? Can they get another stop? And can they get their offense the ball back?
So we'll see how they react after that gain of 1 here with 7 minutes left in the second quarter to bring it to halftime. Wiles in shotgun. Gilbert as an extra blocker. Takes a snap. Pressure coming. Gets it out quick to Gilbert. And Gilbert brought down by the legs by, I believe that's Marlon Reed making his impact. But Gilbert with his first catch of the season, bringing up 3rd and manageable after that nice play.
And, man, it's got to be tough to take down Luka Gilbert. I mean, just the size, the height. He's just a huge unit of a player, and just a great tackle there to get him down in space. That's not an easy tackle to make.
Yeah, they're lucky he wasn't in open field, because I can't imagine being a DB and seeing 6'8" Luka Gilbert flying at you full speed. I mean, that cannot be an easy target to bring down.
3rd down and 5.
See here, a huge 3rd down for the Firebirds. Can Hamilton get a huge stop here on 3rd down?
See if Wiles can make some more magic here. It'll be a quick throw to Norman. He's got the speed, but he's pushing, he's bashing, he's bruising, and he's got the first down. It did not look like he had it, but he fought his way to get that first down.
It's all about Kenyon Norman. His impact that he's had on this game and on the game last week too. Just been a great addition to this Firebird running back offense, and him and Braden Johnson are going to be a great running back duo this year.
I mean, that speed, and he's known for his speed, but he was still able to break away on that tackle. This backfield is incredible for Lakota West. Wiles out there in shotgun formation on this fresh set of downs. Takes a snap. 4-man rush. Gets it over the middle, and that's just out of reach for Luka Gilbert. Over the middle, and that's going to bring up 2nd 10. I'm sure that's one he wishes he could get back.
Yeah, wide open down the middle, had Luka Gilbert. I mean, that one, if completed, is probably looking like you're getting in the end zone there, but just a tough miss there, and we'll see what they can do here on 2nd down.
If you want to talk about open field, I mean, man, right in the middle of the field, he would be full steam down in the middle of the field there.
Yeah, you don't want to have to tackle that man running full speed down the field. That is just no one wants to have that job.
Friday Night Lights, but that can't even be enjoyable. They'll get it out there to leave. That is Kenyon Norman on the run. Nice run, about 3 or 4 yards there to bring up 3rd and about 7.
We're really seeing the split carries between Johnson and Norman, 2 guys that have really stepped up early in this season, but really Kenyon Norman's been making, more of a spotlight for himself. As we already knew Braden Johnson was that guy last year, had that breakout season, but Kenyon Norman's starting to have that breakout season here this year.
So we'll see how this offense reacts on that 3rd and 7. They completed the last 3rd down, but we'll see what they can do here. Wideouts 4 wide. Snap, looking, pressure coming, gets it out. That's a first down to Davis. And he has had a solid game so far in this first half, getting a couple catches and a couple runs.
Yeah, great play right there to keep the chains moving, and they're just wearing down this Hamilton defense. There's not much they can really do.
And this is the offense that Bolden wants to run the most. Obviously, you're not going to be against a 75-yard touchdown, but what he really wants is that bruising style, just chip down the clock and get it into the end zone. It might take a little longer, but you got to be patient as it ages like wine. He'll give it to Norman again, and that speed getting upfield. Ref getting a little bit of contact there, but that's a nice carry, and that's going to make a second and a couple. Excuse me, that's going to be a first down into that red zone territory.
How about Kenyon Norman again? We keep calling his name, but he keeps making the plays here on this field tonight. He's been incredible, and he's going to continue to be incredible here tonight. And I don't know if Hamilton can do much to stop him.
I believe that's a 2 tight end set out there. You might expect to see a run here or a fake run, get it out there to Barnett or Davis, because it's a big lineup out there tonight. They'll give it, fake to Norman. Wild's going to take it himself, fighting his way. Looks like a touchdown, and it is a touchdown. Ref rule. That's going to be 22-0 ball game here tonight, and what an incredible run. I mean, he never fails to impress all of us with his running ability. It doesn't matter where we are, he's going to get a nice run in, no matter what game it is.
And now we got Kobe Adu before, but that was an amazing run. I mean, Sam Wiles continuing to show his legs. He did it last week. He's continuing to do it this week. He's an amazing player, and, I mean, this is an amazing football team right now. Everything's clicking for them.
Obviously, you got to love a passing. We're seeing a ref. I believe that was unsportsmanlike conduct on West, but it was after the play, so touchdown will stand. I think this kick will move back a yard. Actually, I believe that'll be on the kickoff. That'll be 15 yards back. But like I was saying, you got to love a pocket passer. But when you have a guy like Wiles, it's hard to defend against him because you don't know if he's going to run or throw, and it doesn't really matter because he's going to beat you somehow. But we'll see Adu before kick this one up. Kick is up, nearly blocked, but he gets it through. So it'll be a 21-0 game heading in with 3:58 on the clock going into the second half. We'll see if Hamilton can put some points up on the board before the second half. So Duberfour will kick this one away. 21-0 game, and how has West really played here tonight, Andrew Odell?
Well, it's not that hard to really see. I mean, they've played amazing here tonight. Up 21-0. They get the ball back at halftime as well, and Hamilton really hasn't been able to get anything going offensively, and the Firebirds are just maintaining that defensive stronghold, and then on offense, bashing and bruising their way down the sideline.
I'm not sure Hamilton expected that one to be such a soft kick because it just rolled right into the back of the end zone. They did not see it coming. But they will start on that touchback area, that 20-yard line, and they need to get back into this game. I mean, it's already a 21-point game. They got to get some points on this board if they want to get at least a little bit of that momentum back.
Yeah, well, I think going into halftime, you at least got to get a touchdown here on the board if you're Hamilton to really stay in this game because right now it's not looking too great.
So we'll see. Mathis will give it, fake it to Goldsmith, and that is just a little bit outside. I assume that pressure from DJ Edwards gave him a little freaked out because that was just an off throw from a great quarterback.
And I think kind of this game kind of symbolizes how good West is compared to the rest of the GMC. I mean, talk about Hamilton, they're still a great team in this GMC conference. You know, they still win a pretty good amount of games. They won a pretty good amount of games last year. But when you're going up against the best, it's gonna be hard to win, and West is just a tier above some of these teams in the GMC.
And I think you can really attribute all that success to Tom Bolin because he was incredible with Cole Rain, and Cole Rain had some great seasons with him. But ever since he's joined West, it's been up and up for us. But Goldsmiths will get a nice gain there to bring up 3rd and short. About 2 yards there. They want to complete this first down. Looks like they want to play that Firebird version of ball where they just chip down the field and get a touchdown in about 3 or 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, they only do have 3 minutes to go before halftime, so they're going to want to have to get the ball down the field here. You know, you saw them taking shots early, which really it looked like it was going to work early. They got some separation on those balls, but they didn't really go back to it. And it's been kind of hard because of the defensive line of the Firebirds has just been amazing tonight.
Looks like they're trusting their offense. I don't think they want West to get much time and score before half. Like you said, they get ball to start the second half, and they don't want to go down 35-0. And I think that's a stop for West. Talk about that D-line getting a stuff there. We'll see if they decide to go for it. It's deep in their own territory, but desperate times call for desperate measures on this 4th and 2 play.
Looks like they're going to keep the offense out there. A bold decision, but you got to respect as here comes the punting unit coming onto the field. But still, you know, I would keep that offense out there. You don't really have much to lose, but, you know.
Yeah, you saw some indecisiveness. They were thinking about, you know, maybe going for it there. They're definitely in that desperation zone. So Goldsmiths will kick this one away, and Mason will receive.
As Mason, again, you never want to see him with the ball in his hands, taking it back. If you're the opposing team, looks like there's going to be a 5-yard penalty on Hamilton. We'll move him back a little bit.
That's another delay of game there. That's 2 times on that special teams. I'm sure they're going to be working on that one all week long.
Yeah, but if you're Hamilton, you really got to prevent the Firebirds from getting in the end zone here. Not a lot of time for Lakota West with only 2 minutes and change left, but still, you know, with how their offense has been working, they have a good enough amount of time to get the ball in the end zone.
Especially with a great kicker like Kofi Adu-Before. He's going to, you know, they have some range there from their kicker position. So what do you expect to see? Will West, you know, have some short plays, just some short chunk yards, or do you think they're going to go for that deep throw? Wiles does have the arm, but what do you think?
I think, honestly, they're going to let Wiles kind of rip it here. I think 154, 2-minute drill, this is the perfect time to let Sam Wiles just go to work and use his arm to get the ball downfield. We haven't really seen much of it. We saw it a lot last week, or a decent amount last week with him, you know, creating plays on the run and then making throws to Trey Barnett. We'll see if he can do some of that here on this possession.
Yeah, this is definitely some dangerous. This is where Wiles gets very dangerous because, you know, you got to expect a throw with such a short amount of time left on the clock. But at the same time, you know, he's got that running ability, especially if he can get out of bounds with all 3 timeouts. Be a quick throw, that middle of the field, to Luka Gilbert getting his 2nd catch of the game. And they got to hustle. They still have those 3 timeouts, but you know you don't want to use them. You want to take advantage of them as much as you can. Clock down to 1:40. Wiles takes the no huddle, looking, gets it out to Davis, and Davis with the first down there to move the chains.
As here, you know, Firebirds continuing that 2-minute drill offense. They're getting inside the 40. And Hamilton's defense here, that's going to see what they can do again. You know, they got that red zone pick that one time, but other than that, they haven't really been able to get a stop on the Firebirds. So we'll see what they're able to do here.
So here he goes. Wiles takes the snap, looking. Pressure coming. He's got the legs. He's got to move. He's got a man downfield, and that's just out of hand. That's a bit of late contact, and the flag does come out. And that's unfortunate for Hamilton and number 7, Jaden Lewis. I don't think he meant to do that.
Yeah, it's just a tough late hit. Some of these late hits that you see these days, they get flags thrown for them. You know, it's obviously not intentional, but it's just difficult to deal with because you know the defender did not intentionally mean to hurt them or, you know, hit a late hit on them, but it's just unfortunate that it had to end up that way, and you still got to get the penalty out there.
Yeah, you know, it might have been unfortunate for the defense, but safety is safety, and you can't allow things like that to slide if you're a referee. But that is going to bring them very close into that red zone territory at that 24-yard line. Wiles just getting closer and closer to scoring. It's still 1:12 left on the clock. Wiles takes it, blitz coming, rolling to his right, throws it downfield. He's just going to throw that one away. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what a coach likes to see. You know, obviously not a positive play, but just having the wherewithal to throw that one out of bounds, knowing there's nothing downfield, and just playing smart and playing safe, especially for a young guy like Wiles.
Yeah, and if you're West here, you got plenty of time, still a minute and some change left on the clock right there, but you're going to want to, continue to see this Firebird offense try to pass the ball. It's been a lot of passes on this drive, and obviously they're comfortable with Sam Wiles getting it down the field. You're already up 21. You might as well get some reps in here for your receivers who didn't really have, other than Trey Barnett last week, didn't have much of an impact on that game. So we'll see if they can get something done here.
Talk about Wiles spreading it out on that quick screen to Norman, and Norman is brought down. That's a big, big tackle by number 8, C.J. Bryant. And
The tackle was made by number 8.
looks like his helmet came off, so he's got to come off the field for a moment. But that's going to bring up 3rd and 10.
Yeah, pretty tough situation to be here for the Firebirds. A good defensive stand from Hamilton. We'll see what they can do here, but I'd expect a drop back from Wiles, maybe make a few moves, make some magic here, and try to find a receiver maybe in the end zone.
If I'm the Firebirds here, I just get a quick, short throw because you have the range from a do-for, and, especially being up 3 touchdowns, I think you just play the safe route and get a quick field goal to bring this one to the second half. But he will go on that play action. He'll throw that one deep, and that looked like a little bit of contact there. They're not going to call that. Defense is there by Trey Brundage, but West wanted a contact, a penalty there, but they're not going to get it. So I believe the kicking unit will come out there onto the field.
Yeah, and it's tough that you can't score a touchdown there on that drive, but still, you get to get the kicking unit on, and a do before has the leg to kick this one through. Don't want to jinx him, though.
I don't think he would appreciate it either. As we all know, the commentator, the jinx, it is real. It's not just a myth. It is real. So, only time will tell on this kick. I'm not going to say anything too early. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up. It's got the range. And that looks good. So 24-0 ball game with 24 seconds left in this first half. We'll take a short break, and we'll see if Hamilton tries to do anything here or if they just take it into the second half. So we'll return to see this kickoff and the end of this second half. But Andrew, what are you liking from this offense?
I'm just liking the methodical nature of the offense. Really, it's been just get the ball out quickly, and a tough stop there from Hamilton to get Sam Wiles under pressure and get him to force an incompletion. But still, it's been a good look for the offense today for West, and obviously the defense has just been amazing.
Looks like there might be some confusion out there as this kick is a little delayed, but there's the ref's whistle. We'll see the kick. A line drive, and that one's to the end zone, and that's another touchback. 2 before is not missing on these kicks.
Yeah, he's been amazing this year so far, and that was a pretty decently long kick there. He was able to just drill it, and as 21 seconds left for Hamilton, not much to do here on offense. Really just going to want to see probably a run, probably take it at halftime, but can't really do much through the air here as you have to go 80 yards down the field in just 20 seconds.
A rough half for Hamilton. They came in after beating Baden 15-0. High spirits, but this must be a killer for their season.
Not for their season, but, still just definitely mentally it's tough to go in and lose a game like this. But you got to understand, West, they're a great team. It was, bound to happen, but as they'll take the knee, send it to halftime, and we'll see you back in second half. Go to the bathroom, get a drink, get a snack, whatever you got to do, but make sure you're back for a doozy of a second half.
And we are back here for the second half of Hamilton versus Lakota West, as we will see as Connor Stevens will kick this one away and West returns, which is very unfortunate for Hamilton as they are already down 24-zip.
Oh, shoot.
Interesting kick there. I mean, that one doesn't go in the end zone. That is bad field position for Lakota West.
Smart play, though, there from Kamani Smith, letting it bounce, making sure it gets into the end zone to set up good field position here for the Firebirds.
Now we'll see how Bolden reacts here. Obviously up 24-0, but, you know, we'll see if he lets up on the gas or if he continues to push through.
Yeah, and, the offense of the Firebirds has been led by Kenyon Norman, the running back, who has just had a great game here so far tonight. Just bouncing off tacklers, making a name for himself, and really putting his team on his back.
Yeah, and I mean, Sam Wiles, he has been on fire tonight. Other than that one bad interception, I mean, if he hits that one, of course, it's 31-0, but other than that, he's been lights out.
Yeah, he has been lights out, and this West offense has just been crazy as Hamilton makes a really good tackle there, and the student section goes crazy.
C.J. Bryant getting an impact there.
Yeah, you got to respect the student section staying for this game. Down 24-0 at half, they're still out there. They're still making noise. That you love to see it.
Yeah, whether or not it's your school, school pride, you ought to love to see it, like you said. But you saw that jet sweep again from West, and Hamilton was all over it. C.J. Bryant got up there. He read that play like a book.
Yeah, great play there from C.J. Bryant. But, for the Firebirds offense, I think just continuing to pound it on the ground. You're already up 24-0. Just close this game out.
Like you said, just focus on keeping this low. And that is going to be a quick false start. I believe that was on Luca Gilbert. And that is not what you want to see for this offense.
Yeah, slow start to the second half early on for the Firebirds. Not really one you want to see coming out of the half after how fantastic that first half was. But we'll see what they can do here on second and very long.
Yeah, you got to hope that, this Firebird offense, they didn't get a little cocky after that halftime and slow down, because that is not what you want to do. Keep playing to the last minute, as, every dad says.
Yeah, play to the whistle, and good things will come as here the Firebirds down 2nd and 17. Hamilton, their defense trying to get them back in this game with a comeback potentially.
Wiles will take it himself, and once again, Hamilton's defense is there. C.J. Bryant and Travion Bailey, they shut that play down quick, and this defense, they are here, and they are ferocious.
Right now, it seems like a completely different team, honestly, on defense right now for Hamilton. In the first half, West was getting everything they wanted on offense, and now here, Hamilton's not allowing West to get anything.
I can't imagine what Krause told him in that locker room at halftime.
See here, a 3rd and very long for the Firebirds. See if they just run it here, stay conservative, or if they let Wiles go through the air.
It looks like they will. That's a bit of a miscommunication to Trey Barnett. And get a little chippy down there between Barnett and Noah King. But that's going to bring up 4th and long, and the punting unit will come out there.
You got to be thinking that Artie Crouch in the locker room was just telling his guys, one stop is all it takes. One stop, and we get the ball back, we can win this game, or at least make it competitive. As they came out with energy in this second half. It's a whole new game here in this third quarter.
So we'll see Joe Marquette punt this one away. He doesn't get much action on this loaded Firebird offense, but he'll get some right now tonight.
Yeah, and really being a punter for Lakota West, it's not that too hard of a job, as this team really doesn't usually punt it that often, as their offense is always on the field and always scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, regardless of that, he is an impressive kicker. But here comes number 3, R.J. Shepard, showing his return ability. Like I said, Reese Mason versus R.J. Shepard, they've been fighting all game, and looks like they're taking even into the returning facet of the game.
You start to see the field position battle here as Hamilton's starting to win it with that return right there, and the Firebirds kind of backed up now. Can their defense force a stop? As, Hamilton hasn't really been on the other side of the field, on, west side of the field much this game, so we'll see what they can do here past the 50-yard line, see if Antonio Mathis can get this offense going.
Yeah, you don't get much better of a start there. Get the 3 and out on defense gets a loaded offense, and now you have the ball in territory. But there is Cam Thomas showing his ability, getting a loss of yards there on that run play. As I say, great start for Hamilton. West showing that, they're not slowing down for this second half.
We'll have to see here, but, another great defensive play. That's that D-line that has just been terrorizing opposing offenses, early in this season, and I don't see a weakness in this defense, if I'm being honest. There's no, across the board, they just have not allowed teams to attack them really that much. I mean, you might talk about the quarterback run from Herb Street in the next game, but other than that, there's not been much going on against this defense.
Goldsmiths will get a carry of about 5 or 6 there to bring up third and a little bit more manageable. But, coming into the year, I really thought the secondary was the weakness. But after a game and a half, I realized, Finn Mason, of course, leading the GMC in interceptions. But then you got other guys in the secondary. Of course, you have Finn Mason, but also, Cole and Ogletree. These guys have stepped up and filled the role that might have been left behind last year. And this whole defensive unit, they play as a team, and they fight against the offenses that they play in this GMC.
Yeah, they really fight, and they're continuing to fight tonight. But as taking a shot,
Mathis wants the end zone, and that's tight coverage down there, defended by Mason. He was looking for Elijah Jones, but that's going to bring up 4th and long, and I think they're going to have to punt, but it looks like they might stay on the field and go for it, as I think they are in 4th down territory.
Yeah, and we talked about in the first half how they might be in 4th down territory. Well, they're definitely in 4th down territory here. I mean, you need to get this. You need to get your offense going, and, you're already down 24. You're in such big of a hole. You might as well go for it here, as you're on the plus side of the field.
Play clock down to 15. Doesn't look like they've made a decision yet. Time is running out. They got to make a decision. It's down to 10.
4th down and 7.
3. They get it off. Mathis taking another shot. The receiver slowed down. He looked like he might have had him there.
Didn't look like he saw the ball there, and that's unfortunate for the offense, which, I mean, with all the momentum on Hamilton's side after that big stop, it's just, comes to a screeching halt as they can't get the ball through the air there on that 4th down, and West takes over.
Great stop by that defense. Like I said earlier, defense, when the offense makes some mistakes, the defense says, don't worry about it, we're there. Just make sure you get them on that next drive. And they were there once again. And, I mean, they made a quick turnover on possessions, and now it's Lakota West offense. We'll see what they can do to pay back for that defensive help. So here we go, Wiles in shotgun. I believe that's Norman to his right. 4 wide. He'll give it to Norman. Norman fighting tacklers, bruising his way to get a gain of about 3 there.
Looks like there's some jawing going on from Hamilton and Jalen Brogdon on that West sideline right there. But, I mean, these corners and these receivers, the battles they go through, they got to resolve them on the field. And right now, Hamilton, their defense is doing a great job of containing Lakota West here in the start of the second half. But we'll have to see what Sam Wiles can do here on this 2nd and 6.
So here we go on 2nd and 6. Not sure there's a miscommunication on the line and the scoreboard, but it will be 3rd and very short. And I would imagine a run here with, all the capable runners on this offense. This is dangerous territory for Hamilton because you really don't know that this could go to Wiles, this could go to Norman. It doesn't really matter. I mean, they could even get a throw in there as, you have a couple receivers out there wide on that left. Be a fake to Norman right up the middle for Wiles. Wiles breaking through, fighting tacklers, and that's another big 1st down and a play about 15 yards there.
It looks like there's a flag on the field, though, and that'll probably be coming back here for the Firebirds.
Yeah, and it will be holding. Unfortunate for Lakota West. That'll bring back that 3rd down, and they'll redo that play, but still a good confidence boost for Wiles, showing his running ability. It's not done yet.
Yeah, that was a great pickup. I mean, it just seems like every time one of these huge runs breaks away for West, it always gets called back by a holding penalty. I mean, the explosive plays have kind of been limited this year for West. It's been a lot more methodical, and that's good for an offense. But if you're in a situation where you're in a playoff game, high stakes situation, a minute left, you got to score a touchdown. Can your offense get down the field that quickly? With the way they run it in this methodical sense.
So Brogdon comes back onto the field on this 3rd and 7 play. Wiles in shotgun, takes the snap, fakes it to Norman. Makes a man miss on that pump fake, makes another man miss on the pump fake, and he's got Norman wide open on that left sideline. Makes a man miss, going down the field. He will have another Lakota West touchdown. Kenyon Norman.
Oh, it looks like there's a flag on the play late. Might have been a late hit, though. But Norman with the house call, what a play right there, and that's a huge confidence booster. Not sure what the penalty was.
I'm hoping it's not a holding.
It looks like it's going to be on Hamilton, and that'll be a touchdown for the Firebirds.
So there you go, the 30-0 lead for Lakota West. I mean, I believe that's broken all of our predictions, man. I mean, 30-0. What a run by Norman. I believe that's his first touchdown definitely his first touchdown of the season, and I think the first touchdown of his high school career. What
How
a run,
about
man.
Kenyon Norman? I mean, he has shown up tonight. He's been great for this Lakota West Firebirds team, and you love to see it. I mean, they are just putting it on Hamilton tonight. They came with the mindset that they wanted to take this game home and leave no doubt, and they have left no doubt here early in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, for sure. And as Dufour kicks this one away, got to give it up to Sam Wiles. He made a couple man miss on that pump fake. That is a dangerous pump fake from him.
Yeah, he had them looking embarrassed there as he just made that great pump fake, got away. I mean, just Sam Wiles, he's a magician. The ability for him to go through the pocket and find his open receiver, just an amazing talent.
So Dufour puts that one up, making it a 31-0 game. We're going to take a short break with 6:50 left in the 3rd quarter, but make sure you are back for the rest of this game. You see, after that 15-yard personal foul, that's going to be a very short field for a Dufour kick. I'm no doubt he can kick this one in the back of the end zone.
Or if he wants to, he could try to kick it kind of a squib, make it a bit harder on this Hamilton special teams unit. We'll have to see what he does here.
So he'll kick it up and will kick it out the back of the end zone as a deep flyer.
Right through the uprights right there. I mean, what a kicker.
I think that should count for something, right?
Yeah.
some kind of point. Kicks it up through the outrights in high school. Pretty impressive if you ask me.
I mean, from the 45-yard line, that is pretty dang impressive.
Yeah, that's 55 yards right there. And some room because that one was high. Yeah. So here we go from the 20. We'll see how Mathis can respond. It's been a rough night for him. He's an incredible QB, but he's playing, especially this stacked linebacker, but all over the defense. They are incredible players, and it's no easy task going against this West defense.
Yeah, no easy task indeed. I mean, the Firebirds' defense has just been amazing tonight. It's been impossible for Mathis to get the ball to his receivers, and they haven't really been running open that very often.
So here we go. Mathis will give it to Goldsmith, and he's got a bit of a lane. Nice play for Hamilton, getting about 7 yards there.
Yeah, but you like to just see if Hamilton can get something going on offense, Obviously, the game is probably out of your reach, just not enough time with how the score is placed at. But if you can get something going through the air, maybe get your offense a little bit more confident going into the later weeks, that could be a learning experience.
Oh, breaking free, Goldsmith. Talk about Goldsmith. He has been a power running back today. I mean, don't have the exact number, but I think it's like 15, 20 carries he's had tonight, plus punting. I mean, he's basically this whole team, man. Talk about a Swiss Army knife.
I mean, when you think of GMC football, first thing that pops in your head is defense. And the West defense, I mean, it has been amazing tonight and continues to be amazing throughout this entire season. But we'll see what Hamilton can do here.
Mathis will give it to Goldsmith again. They're just trying to get some yards downfield so they can get into that scoring position.
Yeah, and that power run game starting to do them favors a little bit here as they're getting down the field, getting some decent gains here on first and second down. It's good to see if you're a coach of Hamilton and, you know, looking at this film later on and thinking, man, our offense is starting to do some things here late in this game.
So here we go on 2nd and 7. A solid stop from West defense there. You know, bringing up a second and, you know, somewhat long. But Mathis will give it to Goldsmith again. That's 4 or 5 straight carries. He breaks around. West had him pinned, and that's going to be a tackle for a loss. I believe. Not sure. It looked like a swarm of guys there, but I think that was Micah Markley getting to him first.
He kind of bounced off of them like a meatball. I mean, he just bounced over and found his way into the other lane. I mean, just bouncing around and finding his way to gain. I mean, it wasn't that much big of a gain. Still got a yard, though, and as opposed to losing a couple yards there.
For sure, but we'll see how Hamilton can respond here on this 3rd and long.
Also 1 yard on the carry.
Going to be interesting to see here how the Firebirds line up, knowing, you know, Hamilton needs about 8 yards to get a first down. Early in the game, Hamilton did have a 3rd and long, which they converted, so we'll see if they can build off that here.
A quick throw and just out of reach as that one will be dropped. Not sure. I believe that was on Hamilton, number 17, Navy, but that's got to be rough for Hamilton. They have the guy there, but another turnover on downs. Excuse me, 4th down.
Yeah, and, you know, now punting unit comes out onto the field once again. You see Grayson Goldsmith, the Swiss Army knife. He just does it all for this Hamilton team, and, you know, they're a really talented team. You know, coming in, it's tough. You know, it's tough to beat this West team. It's tough to hang with them. But, you know, you're playing such a great team at such a high level of the game. So, you know, you got to give credit where credit is due. You know, Hamilton came in here. Obviously, you know, it doesn't show on the scoreboard, but they've been fighting in this game. And, yeah.
Mason going to let that one bounce, hoping for him that one goes in a touchdown. It will. Smart play from him not to, you know, get a little cocky there. Try to return it. We'll see how West offense acts here, you know, being up 31 points late in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, well, when we did our predictions for this game, we expected it to be at least decently close. You know, we both predicted 2-score outcomes, but when you look at the game now, 31-point game, West has definitely exceeded our expectations here in this game.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a flashlight the way Hamilton has been between off and on. You know, they were on against Baden, no points allowed to them, but 31 to West. This defense is great, but this West offense might be a little too overpowering for them.
Yeah, I really liked your, you know, metaphor of using the flashlight to show off and on. Their defense, you know, it's either energized or it's not. And, you know, there are points where their defense looks like it could be a really good defensive unit and one of the best in the GMC. And there are other times where they kind of just fall asleep and allow some big plays to get behind them.
So it looks like Jackson Smith is in, backup quarterback, trying to get him, you know, young sophomore there, getting him some reps. And I think that's a great idea. He's got the measurables, he's got the talent, but just doesn't have as much experience as Sam Wiles.
Oh, yeah, and Jackson Smith, he is a great talent, and he's the future of this Firebird team once, you know, next year as the 2025 season rolls around, when Sam Wiles is gone, he's going to be the one that takes over, and so it's definitely valuable reps here.
Talk about another guy taking over, Kenyon Norman with the big play to bring first down and move the chains. But yeah, Jackson Smith, you know, it's part of Sam Wiles' job as a senior, you know, teach these young guys to you know, play the starting position and play just as good as they did.
You know, I don't want to dive too deep into next season since we're only in week 2 of this season. But you talk about that running back duo next year, Kenyon Norman and Braden Johnson with a full another year of experience. I mean, that is going to be nasty.
Yeah, you know, I hope this year goes well before we're looking at next year. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if Jackson Smith does pan out as the next guy, that offense could be lethal.
Smith gets it to Davis. Excuse me. I believe that was Jack Burrell, and that's just out of reach for him.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a drop right there. A pretty decent throw from Jackson Smith, but just couldn't haul it in right there for Barella.
Sure, and definitely got to get some of these guys some reps. Especially when you're up 31-0 late in the third quarter, you just got to get some reps for these young guys.
Yeah, the reps are obviously massive. You look at any quarterback that's had success resting after their mentor quarterback kind of takes a season, and it's valuable experience, and getting reps in when you're at that younger stage of development as a quarterback is huge, because you can figure out how you're gonna develop and become a better player.
Norman with a nice play there to bring up second and average, but he's definitely been an impact this game. I mean, obviously the big touchdown, but also just his ability to not give up on plays. There's been a lot of plays where it's a loss of yards or just a gain of 1 or 2, and he fought through those tackles to get maybe 4 or 5 yards out of it, which obviously only a 3-yard change, but like 3 yards, I mean that's a big in these close games. Obviously this one isn't as close, but that's good to see from young guys, just not giving up on plays and continuing to fight through big tackles.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I'm kind of starting to see that almost at the end of the third quarter in this game, if West scores a touchdown here, we're at the running clock threshold of that 35-point threshold. So that would be, something to look for in this game. But it really feels like a game where West dominated, obviously, but the score really doesn't tell the full story of the game. It feels like Hamilton has kind of left some plays on the field.
Yeah, and I believe that's a timeout called. So we'll take a short break.
That'll be the end of the quarter right there.
Correct. Yeah, correct me on there. Thank you. So end of the quarter, bring it to that fourth quarter. We'll see if West scores a touchdown and brings that running clock, but only time will tell. So we'll return for this fourth quarter. So it looks like the running clock has begun. Maybe it's 30 points instead of 35. I'm not sure.
It might be 30 if you get to the fourth quarter and it's
That's
30.
true.
But I did that. I have to discuss that later. But
Marquette boots that one away, and that's a high flyer. Gonna be a tough return for RJ. He'll just call for that fair catch.
Yeah, no, the Firebirds so close to getting that 40 burger on the scoreboard, but, still 31 points. Very impressive tonight for that offense and, still getting reps for the young guys.
Yeah, not sure if they'll hit it, with the running clock and just trying to end this game as fast as possible, limit injuries, which is another thing, I've noticed this game is compared to the injuries last game, there was a few and a couple reoccurring ones, but this game, it's been relatively clean, no injuries for either roster.
Yeah, it's really great to see the health of the players definitely being accounted for here. There's been some John on the, in the game, and there's been definitely some trash talk, but you love to just see both teams leave with all their players healthy.
Yeah, definitely, but we'll see if Mathis tries to, bring their team back into this game here as the fourth quarter winds down.
And Grayson Goldsmith, man, he's just such a hard runner. And, he, when he gets the ball, he just wants to speed all the way through. He doesn't care who's in his way. He's going to get at least some yardage on the play.
Talk about that speed, but also the punishing behavior, the way, like you said, he gets yards. He fights with the tacklers. It kind of reminds me of a bus, the way, a school bus. We all rode one, but, he just fights his way through and gets as many yards as he can get. The energy he brings, you can tell it's definitely impressive. Be a quick throw out wide to Marlon Reed. She gets that first down.
Yeah, I love the simile of the school bus, being like a school bus, just getting your way through and staying in your lane and just dominating on the field.
Lots of comparisons tonight for sure.
Yeah.
So here we go with Mathis. 10:20 on the clock here until this game ends and West comes out 2-0 on the season.
But there's still really impressive stuff here tonight. A team like Hamilton, they're still in the upper echelon of, GMC opponents. So if West is doing this to Hamilton, who knows what will go on next week against Princeton in that game where the top two, we think, GMC teams play each other in that game, which had two amazing matchups last year, one in the regular season, which Princeton dominated West on the road, and then one in the playoffs where West was able to take the win and get their revenge.
Yeah, of course, Princeton did not get the victory week one, but how can you blame them going against Moeller? That was an incredible game, and they hung around in that first half, but the second half, Moeller was able to pull forwards.
Yeah, Moeller's passing attack looks scary this year. Their quarterback was just able to completely use that air raid offense to their advantage and just dominate that game from really start to finish. But Princeton, they're still an incredible team. Quarterback D'Angelo Birch and some of those guys around that team are still able to make that team a very, very top-tier opponent in the GMC and a team that is going to look to make a deep run in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, and those GMC rankings, of course, they do not take into account outside of GMC matchups, so that Princeton-Moeller game will not affect Princeton in the GMC race. So that Princeton-Lakota West game is going to be huge as Mathis airs it down, and that's going to be a incompletion for Mathis as West secondary is all over that.
Yeah, and it seems like, Mathis, he's got the talent. He's such a great player, but when you're going up against a defense like this and, just their coverage is just so hard to attack, and it seems like he's put some really good throws out there, but the defense of Lakota West is just not allowing anything to get down the field.
So we'll see what they do here on 4th and 1. And expect this is going to be one of their last chances to score tonight. 4th and 1. Be a quick handoff, and Lakota West defense is all over that. I believe that was DJ Edwards there getting that tackle. I believe it was tackle for a loss and the turnover on downs. I believe that's the third of the game.
What a great play there from the Firebirds. And now you get to see your young quarterback get back on the field. Jackson Smith, we'll see what he can do here. You'd love to see him get some reps.
I wouldn't expect too much from him. Mainly just some run plays, just to chip down this clock and end this game, like I said, with no injuries.
Yeah, but you do love to see the young guys get reps, and obviously for Hamilton, see their defense, which has been a lot better in the second half. You got to admit, it has been much better, and first half, definitely some things to clean up for them. In the second half, Hamilton has looked very good on the defensive side of the ball.
Smith will take that shotgun snap. A little high, go with to Norman, and not much you can do there. A bit of a high snap there, but nice to Jackson Smith to still be able to get that into Norman's hands. But Hamilton's defense was all over it.
Yeah, and you talk about a guy like Jackson Smith, so talented, and yet, last year, starting as a freshman, he was put into such a tough situation in the first game up against St. X and then the second game up against Princeton. And, obviously he didn't do great, but he still got that experience, and it helped shape him into the player who he is today with that experience. You got to learn to fail, and then if, the failure, you can turn it into success. You can't just fall back down and you got to get back up, and that's what Jackson Smith, I think that's what he's going to do going into next year.
Sure, and there's a quick one to LaShawn Williams to bring up 3rd and long. We'll see if they decide to do a run play or try to convert this first down and get this game closer and closer to the end.
Yeah, it looks like the Firebirds just trying to get to the finish line here. Not much to play for at this point. You're up 31 with just under 7 to play, but
other than that, maybe that 40 bomb.
Yeah, the 40 burger that they're looking to aim to get, but
other than that, there's not much. But Jackson Smith will take it back, and he is going to go down, and Hamilton defense just getting that sack, and that's going to bring up 4th and long.
Looks like the Hamilton student section finally starting to clear out a little bit, but got to give respect to them. I mean, they on their team. That's mad respect right there.
Yeah, for an away game, they definitely traveled pretty strong.
He was stopped by the Hamilton line.
Now you'll see the punting unit coming on for the Firebirds as Hamilton looks to get anything going here offensively. Don't want to end up with, a donut on the scoreboard. You want to get at least some points up on there.
You can imagine West is going to take this play clock as down and as far as they can go before they punt this one away with just about 6.5 minutes left on the clock.
Well, it takes a good bounce for the Firebirds, and they get it pinned at the 1.
He did fall.
It looks like he fell into the end zone, so it'll be a touchback, but almost a great pin there by special teams.
I know Joe Marquette wanted that one to be pinned deep. I mean, that would have been very impressive to say, I pinned them at the 1. That is an impressive, even for the NFL, that is some impressive punting.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest feats you can achieve as a punter, pinning someone at the 1. It's just one of the best feelings you can feel.
Yeah, for sure. Talk about a guy like Pat McAfee. Always had some fun celebrations whenever he made a nice pin back within that 5-yard line. So here we go. About 5.5 minutes left. So Mathis will take the snap, and it will be just a quick handoff to Goldsmith, who, the carries today, but he will get out to the outside. Like I said, does not stop fighting. Doesn't matter if he's down 31-0. He's not going to stop. He's going to keep fighting, and, that turned into a gain of 2, into a first down, a gain of about 12 or 13.
Yeah, that's one thing I love about Grayson Goldsmith. He's never going to stop fighting. He's going to continue to stay up on his feet, keep his legs churning, and he's a heck of a player.
Looks like there's an injury out on the field, so we'll take a quick timeout, but we'll be back for the last 5 minutes of this game. So we will return, and that injury, unfortunately, was Goldsmith right after we were giving him so much praise, and he had to come off the field the rest of his game.
And that is just really, disheartening to see right there. Such a great player going down on the field, but, all wishes to him that he gets better. But we'll see here as a flag on the field quickly.
Flag on the play.
And it will be a full start on the offense.
But yeah, really looking forward to see this power running attack later on in the season for the Firebirds. Norman and Johnson in the backfield, 2 great backs, and then Sam Wiles on the ground too. Kind of that triple option run game that they can do.
And while we're on the topic of run game, it's almost like they have Velcro attached to them because these guys don't fumble. All year haven't had a single fumble. Obviously that one interception, but other than that, they have kept the ball pretty much on their own possession. Have not had any turnovers in that aspect of the game.
Yeah, another really good metaphor there. I mean, it's like they have Velcro on their hands. They just can't turn the ball over. They can't fumble it. And I mean, that's not much else you can say there. They do not allow a lot of fumbles.
So just under 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go here in this fourth quarter, as West is just hoping the game winds down as quickly as can. Bit of a low snap there, but a quick run and a stop for West. Big play there by, I believe, Arshawn Branch. I mean, he got up there and he took him down for a quick tackle of the loss. And, like you said, letting some guys who don't get to play as much get some reps in. I mean, talk about a confidence boost for that team. I mean, that's definitely a big help for the squad.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest confidence boosts that you can give is just to give these young guys some reps. And if they make some huge plays, I mean, that's just a huge confidence booster. And moving forward, it'll just make them such better players.
Mathis doesn't have his favorite target here. As another quick run, and that's going to make a fourth down at the line. West defense fighting, keeping up that intensity. Riley Newman with a quick tackle there. I believe that was about at the line. Not sure if they'll count that as a tackle for a loss, but definitely a great play from him.
Yeah, these Firebirds, they're just not giving up anything easy. They're going to keep fighting until the last whistle, and they'll get the ball back here looking like it'll be probably the last possession of the game.
Yeah, for sure. And, my personal belief, I want to see, some Jackson Smith throws and get some action in from him, because obviously he's the future of Lakota West, and I want to see some of that while we have the chance.
Yeah, but if Tom Bolden plays it how we think he's going to play it, you're most likely going to see, as this one, nice pin inside of 10, but you're most likely going to see just some more ground game and taking it to the final whistle.
Big props to Goldsmith. I mean, took that injury and came out and punted. I mean, that is guts right there. I mean, with just 2.5 minutes left in this game, and obviously he doesn't. Hamilton is way out of competition and does not really have much of a chance in this game, but he's still out there fighting. I mean, you could tell he loves this game.
Yeah, he loves the game of football, and that's true passion right there. Is just being able to continue to do something you love, and even when you're fighting through pain.
For sure, but we'll see what West does here on likely, like you said, the last possession of the game. But here we go. Smith starts out in that shotgun formation on that 1st and 10. Smith takes a snap. He'll give it to, I believe that was Norman. I'm not quite sure who took that one. LaShawn Williams.
Yeah, and the young guys continuing to get those reps in as they, try to figure out who's going to be the future for this team, once some of these guys graduate, as, it's just a constant cycle with high school sports.
1:30 on the clock. It is winding down for this Lakota West squad. I can tell everyone on that sideline is excited. They came here to play, and they did play. I mean, they took down a hard opponent. Like you said, Hamilton is definitely in that upper echelon of teams in the GMC, and they've done great tonight against them.
Yeah, they did great. A battle of two top 3 teams, and just one team is just in another tier, and that's the Firebirds. I mean, they are just a tier above a lot of these teams in the GMC this year.
Despite the loss, I expect to see Hamilton in the playoffs. In about 8 or 9 weeks, but they've played hard, just like you said, different tier West is in. I mean, this is a team with Bolden. They have a lot of experience in this GMC, and they're not afraid to sling it, do whatever they need to do to win.
As they'll take the final snap here, and that'll end this game as we know it. A great victory here tonight for the Firebirds, getting the job done at home, their second home game of the season. But make sure to tune in next week as we go on the road to play the Princeton Vikings, and what should be a top-tier matchup between 2 of the top teams in the GMC.
We thank you for tuning in tonight. It was a great game. I'm excited to see all the viewers out there joining us for next week and all the games we do next week. But, Lakota West took care of business 31-0 as per usual, as the teams go out there and do the high fives, but an incredible game here for West. Team energy is high as West takes care of business as usual.